a safer place. You're not alone, we're standing by your side, helping you through every twist in the ride. With knowledge, care, and a voice that's true, the Disability Digest is here for you. We've walked the path, we've heard the fight, we know the pain that hides from sight. But every story matters, every win is real. Together we rise, together we heal. You're not alone, we're standing by your side, helping you through every twist in the ride. With knowledge, care, and a voice that's true, the Disability Digest is here for you.
All right. Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday. So, welcome. Again, my name is Nadine from the Disability Digest, and today's live session is all about housing help for people on disability. So, if you are on disability and struggling to afford your rent or mortgage, you're not alone. We'll walk you through the most important housing programs and resources in the real world and, share strategies to help you stay in your home even when money is tight. So, as we go along in today's show, please drop your questions in the chat anytime, and we are going to answer them live. And also later, I'll be sharing a link to Zoom so we can give everyone the opportunity to ask your questions live. So, here's the truth. Housing is one of the biggest struggles for people in disability, and I think based on that is confirmed based on the poll that we sent out last week in last week's event. So that's why I'm so glad to let all of you know that Brian, of course, is here with us today. We wouldn't be able to run the show without him to break this all down. So, to those of you who don't know Brian, again, he is the founder of the Disability Digest and has helped over 193,000 people to get, keep, and maximize their disability benefits. So, also, we are joined by Philip, who leads a supportive online community for people going through the disability process. So, he's partnered with us here at the Disability Digest to help members stay informed and take action. So, Philip, thank you so much for being here today. So,
Glad to
Brian,
be here.
take it. Thank you so much, Phil. Yeah, Brian, take it away.
Appreciate the introduction, Nadine. And yes, you could run this without me. As a matter of fact, you have run this without me. But a pleasure to be here, everybody. Thank you for taking time out of your Wednesday to come and learn and hopefully participate. If you have
Yep.
something to add, to contribute, it's like social learning here. A lot of the strategies that I'm sharing with you today, it's not like I cooked them up. I've learned from a lot of you in, the almost 2 decades that I've been doing this. So what I planned for you today is some tips, like what you can do if you are facing the struggles of housing, or perhaps you see that you may in the future, like where can you go for help to get assistance to get you through the process? What options are there that you can do on your own? How can you like close the gap financially? What are some easy things for you to do? That's what I have on tap for you today. All right, good. I'm going to share my screen so you can follow along, and also so I can make sure that I stay on track here today. So what the objective is today is to cover housing assistance. Now, you might be going through the approval process and not approved for disability yet, or you might still be working. I expect what I'm going to share with you would still be applicable in the event that you're faced with rent or mortgage challenges, and give you some practical practical, hopefully, action steps that you can take. The key here is understanding your options. Nadine said something in the introduction that I want to expand upon. This is a very difficult issue to resolve. And the reason is that the most common reason is there's low inventory, like not a lot of options, and there's a high demand. Like there's 1.9 million people that apply for Social Security disability benefits every year. And there's many others, there's like 9 million people that are already approved. So there's an abundance of people looking for this low inventory of, someplace safe to live in a good neighborhood that you can afford. So I don't want to be a buzzkill, but I want to be realistic with setting your mindset. But we've had great success stories with people that have followed some of these steps and some of them that are new. So if you're missing payment or using credit to pay, people skip meals, they go to unsafe living conditions, facing evictions. Any of these are signs you've got an issue. One of the things for credit related issues, if you are accumulating debt, then the whole debt counseling, debt structure thing, we've covered in other work. I would encourage you to reach out to us. We've referred a lot of people to a company by the name of Cure Debt, where they've consolidated debt. They've actually negotiated mortgage-related debt for you. But one of the first things before I get into getting actual help is negotiating. And if you're in a housing situation, whether it's a mortgage or with your landlord, is to negotiate. And I want to use a real life example that I've actually done numerous times here for people going through the process. Is if they have a landlord and their rent is a challenge, I have drafted letters that if these are people that we are representing as a Social Security disability representative here. And I've structured the letter, sent it to the landlord with the framework that says this. I am representing Bob Jones for his Social Security disability benefits. And I want to communicate to you that, as you know, he's out of work, has limited income or no income. And we are optimistic that we can secure his disability benefits. And if successful, this is an estimated amount that he will be receiving for back benefits. And usually if you have to wait a while, unfortunately, that could be substantial. It could be $20,000 or $30,000. And so my position in this is to instill some confidence to the landlord that if you want or would extend some terms to this individual, there is a likelihood of you getting it back. I also put in there our historical win rate, which I don't communicate in public, so that the landlord has an idea. So here's one strategy that you can use. Is if you're going through the approval process and are using a disability representative and they can act on your behalf to do that. I'm not saying that they would. I do it, but I don't know if others will. That would be one way to help you bridge the gap between now and then, when you start getting some income. All right, so for housing and actually moving locations or finding housing, and this could be renting or this could be purchasing. The first place that you want to go is to get a housing counselor. And I'm going to put a pause on this right here. I'm going to direct you to your local Center for Independent Living. Nadine is going to drop, if you haven't already, a poll into the chat that we would be grateful if you would answer the poll. It's a quick, like, nanosecond to do it. what we want to get an understanding for is how many of you have actually like are familiar with your local Center for Independent Living, like who they are, what they do. Okay. So please, even if you're listening to the replay, I expect you could still access us. Take the time to do that. Okay. So Centers for Independent Living are government-funded agencies that provide services to those that are low income, elderly, which happens to include Social Security disability applicants and recipients. And they provide a variety of services, but I'm going to stay focused today on housing counselors that they have. So they behave like a real estate agent, but these services are of no charge. And so you contact your local Center for Independent Living, and one of the first things that you want to do is get a housing counselor. But listen up. Before you do, you want to be prepared and you want to create your housing wish list. If you skip this step, I would take your chances of having housing success from a 10 out of 10 and drop it down to maybe a 1. And here's why. These are government agencies. They're very busy. Yes, they have housing counselors. But if you're not prepared, professional, and present yourself like you're easy to work with, you're going to fall into the bucket of everybody else. So I want to show you, teach you how you can separate yourself from the pack and get the attention that you deserve. Here we go. You want to make a wish list. And if you don't know, come up with one. If you like have a geographical kind of area that you want to live in, say I'm in zip code 05482 and I want to live within 30 miles of here. I don't want to live in this neighborhood. I want to live in these general areas. You have to be realistic if there's housing there. So first of all, come up with your geo-targeted area. Okay. And then your budget. And you want to knock out areas that you don't want to live in, that may have high crime or they don't have the transportation that you need. Then there's personal preferences. Are you near transit? Do you need to be? You want a quiet area? Do you have pets? But most importantly, do you have any accessibility requirements? Can you climb stairs and live on a second or a third floor? That's different than having a need for like mobility needs where you need to be on the first floor or you need an elevator. Are you using a chair or an accessible piece of equipment that requires certain doorways? These are all things you've got to think through and put in your wish list. Okay. Now, we did an in-depth deep dive on how to craft this in a professional letter. And at the end of this program, I'm going to drop some links into the chat. And this will be one of them where you can go back and listen to a live event that we did teaching you how to use a free AI tool, ChatGPT, where you structure your wish list and craft a letter, send it into your local Center for Independent Living. And then the concept is you follow it up. So you think about it this way. Housing counselor, they get this great letter. Like, wow, this person knows exactly what they want. They've got their act together. They're going to be great to work with. Then you call and you follow up, right? And then the call and follow up, you want to be polite, professional, and persistent. This will separate you from the others. And you might be thinking, oh man, it sounds like a job. Well, I'm telling you, it actually is, in my opinion. If you approach this like a job for housing, you're going to have better success. And if you're not able to do this, take these directions and see if you can find somebody that will advocate for you. Okay. So you want to send in your wish list. There's some, opening framework that you can use. Call, my name is, I'm following up on. I want to know if you have any options, and be very direct and concise in your presentation. So that's actually the number 2 thing that I gave you. Negotiate was 1. 2, it's a housing counselor. right? So I'd put your follow-up as every like 2 to 4 weeks. Stay on it. Maybe they don't have inventory now. Don't write it off. Things change all the time. Relocating. I know this probably is not attractive to a lot of people, but if your life changes and you're in a like cost of living is high in an area, some people are forced to do this. So I want to break down some of the things you can think about to approach this. And looking for areas where there's lower cost of living, food costs are lower, and utilities. Like where I live in the Northeast, like in this particular area, it's cost of living is high. It's difficult for people to live here, difficult for people on fixed income to live here. So a lot of people don't that are fit that needs. So, but also you want to look at other areas for public transportation, the same framework as you did for your housing, but you also want to sprinkle in the healthcare. Like, what is it going to be like for you? If you look at moving to an area that has a really good cost of living, but it doesn't have the care that you need, which could be hospitals and doctors, that's a consideration. Also, the other thing that is important in this equation is the most of you are on Medicare Advantage plans, is what are the options for you in an area that you're going to move to? Because Medicare Advantage plans, the zip code that you're in now, if you go one zip code over, the plans could be different, totally different. If you go from a densely populated area of like, the Tampa Bay, Florida area or Dallas, Texas or something like that, out to a remote area in Iowa, for example, the plans are going to be they're going to be few. So the options are not going to be there. It may be that you have an attractive flex card in your area and that's giving you $300 of like free spending money. That would likely go away in a rural community. All factors to consider. So that being said, we've done some research on some areas to consider, and you can, of course, I encourage you to do your own. But here's the top 5. Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And this is rated by Senior Living, where rent's around $886 a month. You wouldn't be able to, I mean, average one bedroom in this area where I'm at is $1,200 a month. So it's definitely much more attractive. Lincoln, Nebraska. If anybody lives in these areas, love to hear from you. Or I'm going to go through the top 5. I have a full list of 10, but I'm on time restrictions here. I'll do those in another video. This, we worked with a member in this area of Ohio. I want to say that's Steubenville, Ohio. Yeah, $704 a month is the average rent, and cost of living is 13% below average. Hutchinson, Kansas, $882 a month. Cost of living is 10% below. Ada, Oklahoma, 853, right? Now, some of you may be thinking, well, why don't I move like out of the country where it's low income? Like we've talked about the Philippines, it's a beautiful place, nice climate, wonderful fruit, and amazing people. But all that concept is great. But when you leave the country for more than 6 months, you jeopardize losing your disability benefits. Now, once you reach full retirement age, bon voyage, you can live anywhere you want. You're not subject to that criteria, right? So those are some of the items. Remember, we're going to do Q&A in a minute. If you have a contribution to this event and this topic, then I'd love to hear from you. A few other things I want to go through with you. We have a refer a friend program that can help you financially close the gap. And how this works is it's 1.9 million people that apply for disability, 687,000 get it. If you know somebody that needs to go through the process and get approved, you refer them. We pay you $100 when they join and get into our disability approval course. We pay you another $100 once they get approved. Now, they can get approved using our course without a representative, save all legal fees. Or if they use us as a representative, you would still get $100. It doesn't matter. Your job is to get them approved, to get the first 100 and the second 100. Do that 5, 6, 7 times a year, or once a month. $200 may close the gap on your housing issue. All right. Other ways to supplement your income. I'm going to talk about our advocate openings that we have here at the end of the program, but there's other things that you could do if you're not able to work a traditional job. You can work and supplement your income each and every month once you're a disability recipient. You just need to stay below the allowed amount, right? Another one is home share programs. We recently talked about this. This can work two ways. If you have a home and you want to keep it, sharing it. And it's not like Airbnb. Home share programs will do all the venting and background check and everything for you and put a candidate in your house. If it doesn't work out, then they change them. Or if you want to live or are willing to live in somebody else's home, I know individuals that have done this successfully around here. They've lived in some really nice places. And these individuals sometimes will charge you a little bit of money and ask for you to do some tasks or chores around the house in exchange, but it's significantly less than paying rent. Home share program, just search your local area. As always, review your disability benefits if you're approved annually. Coming up like late September, early October is prime time when all the plans change. Make sure that you're not spending more than you should. You're getting everything that you're entitled to make sure that you have all that cash flowing in. And as part of that review in the densely populated areas, some of you may qualify for a flex card. Those flex cards have a very clear communication in them that you can use that money for rent or for your mortgage for housing. So if a flex card has $300 a month, then that could be a helpful tool for you to reduce your housing expense. All right, so here's the action steps. Everybody, if you're in need of housing, should contact your Center for Independent Living and get that started. Get your wish list, draft it up, send it in, right? Consider relocating if that's an option for you, and the affordable places that we considered. Of course, consider the Refer a Friend program. Other ways to supplement your income, explore the home share options, and review your benefits. Listen, you can review your benefits all on your own. I'll put a couple links in here for you, but we are going to teach you how to do it at the end of September, beginning of October. Or if you're already a member here at the Disability Digest, you can reach out to an advocate, and as part of your free membership, no cost membership, we'll review your benefits for you or with you. We'll help you understand what your current plan is, everything that's on it, what the changes are for next year, and what other plans look like and how they line up so that you can make a decision. So those are some of your options. So I want to pivot to Q&A, and this is a large chunk of information, but I don't know if I can put it all into the chat. But I'll give it a try, see what happens. All right, so now as we move into, I'm going to stop my screen share and I'll work on this over here. I want to move into Q&A. So I think last week we worked with Philip first.
Yeah. I think we can go ahead and let Philip go first as well before we, yeah.
All right. Philip, just give me 1 nanosecond here. I want to see if I can put all of this in chat.
Okay.
Nadine, you are going to put the link in for. Let's see what happens with that. Yeah, it's not going to allow me to put that in. So what I'll do, Nadine, if you don't mind, while Philip is going through that, is
Mhm.
I will put the that's not going to work either. Okay, folks, this is what I'm going to do. Right after the show is over, I'm going to go into the description of this event and I will put the information in there that I share. Okay? Probably should have done that to start with. All right, Philip, we're on.
All right, I'm going to start out with a couple of shout outs first. One to Tony, he's our new moderator in the group, so give Tony a big hey.
Thanks, Tony.
And I want to give another shout out to Chris, who just sent in about 20 minutes ago, says, I just got approved for SSDI. It's your cue, Brian.
Here we go. That's for you,
There
my
you
friend.
go.
All right. Fireworks.
Love it.
Congratulations, Chris.
Well done, Chris.
And then another shout out to Kylie, who just sent in this question. Says, I'm so happy I got approved for SSI. Now on Thursday at 8 a.m., I have a call from Social Security to get a call back or to get all my bank information, etc. My question is, will I learn what my back pay is and how much I will be getting then, because my portal hasn't updated me on anything yet? And also, how long does it take usually to receive back pay and monthly payments? This is all new to me. I am going to be doing direct deposit. Congratulations, Kylie.
Yeah, congratulations. So let's address that. So yes, you should find out everything that you want to know in your award letter, like your amount of back benefits, and I think you'll also find out when your health insurance when your Medicare starts. So if you're a member here at the Disability Digest, then I would reach out to us if you'd like some help. As part of a benefit review process, we could go through your award letter and like just kind of validate it for you and explain it, because we do this as part of the benefit reviews. But yeah, congratulations. And they should have grabbed your banking information in the very beginning. I don't know why they didn't. So, good news.
Okay. All right. Next question. How much weight does the medical source statement from your doctors hold in making the judge's decision?
Well, hopefully it's a good one. I'm gonna say, as far as evidence is concerned, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. 10 being the highest. It's really powerful. Yeah.
Okay. Anonymous says, if you are approved for both SSI and SSDI, but your SSDI is too high for the SSI to be needed, do you get a back payment from SSI for the 5 months waiting period for the SSDI? Did you get all that?
Yeah, typically you get back pay for Social Security disability. And I don't know the whole situation, like if you had an offset or any of that. So it's difficult for me to answer, but I can speak to it this way. Typically, an individual will receive the back pay for their Social Security disability check amount. So if you had 10 months of back pay and your check was 1,500, you're going to get 1,000, you're gonna get $15,000.
Okay. Let's see here. Next one. My claim is being sent back to the U.S. District Court, back to a hearing level. It was supposed to go back to the judge that denied me, but he retired a few months ago. Since this is being sent back to the hearing level, but is a different judge, would that be better for me than if I go back to the same judge?
Good question. Difficult. I mean, if your original judge had a 15% approval rate and you were sent back to them versus going to another judge that has the typical like 57% approval rating, I would say 57 is going to be better than the 15. So that would be better. That's one thing to consider because it's really the same evidence that's in your file.
All right, here's another one. It's in the same category as the one before we had. It says, do you still get your SSI back pay if you were approved for $1,900 a month SSDI and will get back pay, get that back pay? Do you get both if your SSDI is over the 967, which is the cap for SSI?
Yeah, that's the same answer.
Yeah. All right. Says, Rachel says, husband applied for SSI and SSDI in July of 24. Court hearing next week. If approved with back pay and a good onset date, does he have to wait for his pay? Does he have to wait that wait period for Medicare? This is all new to us, and his age isn't typical, as he is in his 40s.
All right.
He does have a lawyer, and lawyer said his case looks good. I'm just trying to get the questions answered.
Yeah. And most lawyers that take cases are going to say they look good. Otherwise, I wouldn't take them. Just my take. July 2024 was the application date, Philip?
Yes.
Did they say?
Applied for SSI, SSDI in July 2024.
Okay, but it didn't say the date that the individual stopped working, did it?
No, no.
Yeah.
Did not.
And it's going to a hearing, I presume, because
Next week. Yeah.
Okay. So this is what will happen. You're going to go to a hearing next week. Judge's going to hear the case. Highly likely that it will not be a decision on that day. The judge will take 60 to 90 days to have the decision written up, and you'll receive a decision letter from that hearing. From there, presuming that it is in line with what your lawyer said, it's going to be favorable, then you'll receive your award letter in 60, 90 days after the decision letter. Right, so we've got high-end 90 days for the decision letter and then a possible another 90 days for the award letter. And then at the time the award letter is when you'll receive the back pay, which is difficult for me to pinpoint because I don't know when you're out of work or when your husband was out of work. But that's the general flow of it. And so if you think about how much money you're going to receive, it's going to be, if your onset date is 5 months after your onset date is when the clock starts ticking for your back pay. So if you filed in July of 2024, and it was 5 months before that, for example, that you stopped working, or your husband stopped working, it would be from July until, whenever the decision is rendered. that number of months would be the framework for the formula for your back pay.
All right, that's all we have for today, but I want to give another shout out to Chris and Kylie for their approval.
Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, if you're up there, come join the conversation. We'd love to hear what worked for you.
All right, Nadine, it's all
All
yours.
right. Thank you so much for all those questions, Philip, and thank you so much, Brian, for answering them. So I just posted the link for our Zoom room to those of you who wanted to ask your questions live. It's up there. The link is already in the comments section. So while we wait for someone to join us live, Brian, I do have a couple of questions here from the comments. First is from Zippy. Zippy is asking, what would happen if SSDI sent you a CDR letter, but it got lost in the mail?
How do you know it got lost? Did they say they sent it?
He didn't
don't know
say
that.
any more details. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a hunch that something was sent to you, I would ask to have it resent, because if it's sent and doesn't come back, flag goes up.
So we have Rick, who is wanting to join us live.
All right, Rick, come on down.
There you go. Rick, you're on mute. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you to unmute yourself. If you're on your phone, Rick, just click on, just click anywhere on your screen and it should show you the icon for the microphone and just click on it to turn it on. So as with the video. All right, so while Rick is trying to figure that out, Brian, I also have a question here from Kitty. Um, she said there is no center for independent living in my rural area. I've looked. Is there any alternative resources for folks who do not have a center for independent living in their county, but also could use housing assistance? I need to replace a 70-year-old roof, but I cannot afford it. My county is Okanogan in Washington State.
Like the concept of the Centers for Independent Living is there everywhere. Like I live in rural Vermont and there's 5. So, I mean, I would be glad to do a search or have somebody search for you here. I would encourage you, and maybe part of your question is there is one, but it's too far. But I just want to reiterate that the concept for centers is to cover the entire geographical footprint of the United States. So again, if you're a member here at the Disability Digest, just contact us on the support desk with your zip code and your address. We'd be glad to look it up for you. Also, I'll put a direct link in the chat. I did put in the description of the video, I have already put the notes for the action items, but I can just put this one in here and encourage you to take a look at that.
So we got another question here, Brian. I have to sell my paid for home to make ends meet and
Right.
go renting. Is there help for me as I go through the SSDI program?
Right here. So yeah, here at the Disability Digest, of course, you can listen to these live events, which is just a little bit of information relative to what's going on, but the best way we can help you is if you join us as a member at the Disability Digest. Nadine can drop a link in the chat. And when you complete your membership, you'll be directed to an advocate that you can talk to, and they will help you understand your options and how you can use the disability approval course to go through, get approved, manage your own case. Or if you want to have somebody work on your case for you, they can discuss that option. So no charge for the membership, speaking with the advocate, or the course. And all of that is no cost, works marvelously. If you want to use a representative, that's a separate deal. There's a fee associated with that. That's Social Security sets. So that's how we can help you. If you're already using a representative out there, for those of you, I encourage you to come on in definitely and take advantage of the course to make sure that your current representative is doing what should be done to get your benefits approved. Actually, there's some new trends in disability case approval that we're going to be releasing and on our YouTube channel in the next few days that I've learned from other conferences and industry experts. So stay tuned for that.
So we got another question here from Annie. Or I think she wanted to ask for tips because she said that she's trying to sell her home to move to a cheaper area, but nobody is buying.
Boy, I'm not in the real estate business, and so it's not my area of expertise, but typically the market dictates the price. I do have a real estate friend, and I've had conversations with him and his clients, and he always says the market dictates the price. You need to change your price if it's not selling. So that's from my buddy Kevin. That's the extent of my expertise on that topic. Maybe you can rent it.
Yeah.
Could be an option. Maybe.
Another question here from Cash. I like your name, Cash.
Yes.
Hello.
Good show.
Great show. Wouldn't it make more sense to pay everyone a living income, say 50K, and get rid of all the ridiculous agencies like housing, food stamps, Medicaid, etc.? I think it's just a suggestion or asking for your opinion, Brian.
I'd have to know. It sounds wonderful, but
Yeah.
and an idea like that has been floated recently in political circles. I just don't know enough about how that would actually work. But if it worked, I'm all in favor of it. Yeah. Just a standard amount of money that takes everybody out of the poverty level. Yeah.
Okay. So one last question here from Annie. Why would someone apply for both SSI and SSDI?
So if you apply for SSI, if you have very low income and assets, you're below the poverty level, then the SSI component can provide you with access to treatment, because typically people are uninsured. So they get treatment. And in some instances, if their assets are low enough, you can get some financial compensation on a monthly basis, like $700-800 a month, to allow you to sustain yourself while you're going through the disability approval process. The other thing is, once you get approved, you can keep some aspects of the Medicaid piece and be dual eligible for Medicare and Medicaid, which allows you to get into some better benefits. Those are some of the reasons.
Yeah, those are all the questions for me, Brian.
I have one other thing on the, if you're listening to this and you're thinking about applying, you're like, oh, well, I'm going to apply for both. I encourage you to be aware there is a downside, which is if you don't qualify, like your income is above $1,700 a month, or you have assets or 401k or anything like that, that would put you out of that category. If you were to apply for it just as a by the way, then when you get approved, your case goes into the payment center and they have to reconcile. Like, even though if you applied and you didn't get it, like, or if you applied and you did get it, they have to reconcile that. And especially if you did receive SSI going through the process, it will take you longer to get your Social Security disability payment. So my point is, long story short, if you don't qualify for it and you know it, don't apply for it.
All right. Thank you so much, Brian.
Yeah, good. Okay, wonderful. So I'm in hopes that this housing tips that we provided for you were helpful. I like the engagement that we have. I did take all of the notes and the action items that I was not able to put into the chat, and it's in the description of the video. You go all the way to the bottom, and you'll be able to locate that. One other thing, as far as closing the gap for housing, that I wanted to go through with you is here at the Disability Digest, we have positions that are available for individuals to come and work here as advocates. That's not what I wanted to show you. And if you're already a member of the Disability Digest, this would definitely apply to you. If you haven't been exposed to it, then you can ask us on the support desk. But since 2007, we've had disability recipients work here, and they're part-time positions, and they're super valuable and important to the work here at the Disability Digest, because the understanding that you have, the challenges that you've gone through, what you've experienced in the approval process. Oftentimes, you have similar conditions to others that are struggling and going through it. So if you're looking for something to do part-time where you can make money every month, keep your benefits, make a difference, have some fun, hopefully, we encourage you to consider coming here and joining us as an advocate. That would be great. So if you have an interest, just contact us on the support desk, and we'd be glad to get you an application for that. Now, we're going to be back here next week, and encourage you to come back. We have an all-new program for next week, another way for you to help you understand how to get your benefits, keep your benefits, maximize your benefits. Those are the topics that we have. Do we have any feedback on the poll that was put in?
Yeah, so far we did have 38 votes in total, and 80% of that said no.
Okay, so folks, this is a huge gap closer right here. As I put the link in to the Centers for Independent Living, is contact them. They can provide you with treatment options, networking options. They have different types of housing options. Every Center for Independent Living throughout the United States has their core services that they provide. But in addition to the core services, and I'm just going to pull this back up. I want to spend a minute on this so people really get it, because this is important. This is the website that I put in. And there's a video that shows you how to find your local Center for Independent Living, but I'm going to give you a quick how-to on this, because so many of you are not familiar with it. You'll come to with the green button, you'll come to a map like this right here. And this lady was in Washington. So if we look at Washington right here, you'll see these little bubbles are the different locations in Washington. And so you would scroll down and you would look at what counties do they cover. So they're going to cover all of the counties that are in Washington, even though they might be a ways away. And that's where you would find the local one. Now, once you complete your letter, your wish list that I discussed with you, you have here the name of the director for the facility, and that's where you want to send it. You want to send it to the director, and you want to send it into info as well. And then you start the follow-up process. But each different center has different services, and they're all over the US. So if we go into more densely populated areas like Texas, you'll see more bubbles. But please take some action if it's applicable for you and do that. Philip, thank you for your contribution. Nadine, wonderful job as always. All of you that are out there listening, it's been a pleasure to spend some time with you. I encourage you to subscribe, join us for more. If you're not a member and you're looking for a customized, no-cost approach to helping you get, keep, and maximize your benefits, I encourage you to join us as a member. We would look forward to helping you out.